are back. Welcome to Books and Booze, the first
official
episode.
We are starting with A Court of Thorns and Roses. We're going to try to do 1 to 11 chapters.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas, author. Shout out.
You don't know that by now. So that's what we're going to try and get through. We'll do some recaps. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in these books. But for those of you who haven't listened to episode 0, we just talked a little bit more about why we're doing this, what to expect, who we are, and those types of things. The really important stuff, I think, in terms of like the plan today, is that we are recapping, that we are always going to have a cocktail with us. We are not experts. We are just people who are trying.
Newly learning later in life how to make fancy cocktails sometimes.
Yeah, we don't know. We're always going to have the mocktail version up on Instagram. And we are also not fantasy book novel experts either, which I think is just a theme that we are going for. We are
not experts.
Newly super fans. So like a year ago, I think we got super into fantasy, even though we had read some fantasy before. Today, we're also going to do our segments, which are cast and call. We're going to cast the characters that come up in these chapters and give our opinions. So we're open to some. I might fight you on some, not just you, but anyone who comes at certain ones that I'm super confident in. But we're also going to do a segment of who we think the winner of these chapters are.
MVP.
If there's a loser that comes up, we might mention that, but that's it.
Yeah. So today is your drink.
It's me today.
Mm-hmm.
Look, lower your expectations before I start talking. Thank you. I am also a Stanley Tucci fan, along with being a fantasy novel fan. And Stanley Tucci has my heart. And if you come for Stanley Tucci, I will do nothing. There's nothing I can do. But
you won't be happy about it.
Yeah, that's another book that if you want to step outside fantasy is a good book to read. I probably in 2023 read Stanley Tucci's book, Taste.
Yes, I had on my bookshelf of the to be read.
I was going to do a cocktail from his book, but they didn't seem fitting for today, so I saw one on his Instagram, which was a Paloma. Now, people came for Stanley. Because he did his Paloma with gin. Palomas are supposed to be with tequila. And look, because I'm on Stanley's side, we're doing gin.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want. I don't care. But we did the gin version, and I think it's great.
I am usually not a gin fan, or a grapefruit fan, or really a lime fan. But when you mix all of them together, it's actually very good, and I was very surprised that I actually do really like this drink.
I was thinking of Jamie when I decided to do this drink. It is 2 parts gin, and I should add, this is the poor man's
cocktail.
Gin Paloma. We're really going off the rails here. Because I didn't use real grapefruit juice. I used grapefruit cocktail. So we did 2 parts gin and grapefruit cocktail.
Well, it's probably better if you want to actually throw in the real.
Well, then I didn't have to add any, like, simple syrup or, like, sugar. Yeah. And then I added some lime juice and we add some sparkling water and you're good to go.
And it's surprisingly very good. If you're not like the gin grapefruit
if you
acidic,
want acid reflux.
If you're normally not a fan of that, I would actually try this.
Let's get started.
Yes, get into it.
Chapter 1 of A Court in Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas opens with Feyre in the woods, up in a tree. She's hunting in the forest for something to eat. She's starving. It's the dead of winter. Like, there is a picture that is painted at the beginning of this book that I think hooked me a lot.
Depressing picture, but...
Depressing and lonely. I'm in.
Yes, you got me.
She seems sad. So, Feyre's hunting. She comes across a deer. Perfect. Right?
Thank God. Yeah. She's starving.
Finally, a deer. But what happens is a wolf comes up, and she's not sure if this wolf is a real wolf or if it is a fairy. And so I think at this point we come to understand that Freethin is a part of the world near where she lives, but it's not where she lives. There's a border. Freethin is on the other side. Fairies live there, which
I like how it gets right into the mention of fairies or fae right away.
Yeah.
Kind of things. I feel like some books it's like it doesn't really get into that aspect first, but like right away mentions fairies and like you know what type of novel it is, or fae. I should stop saying fairies.
Well, they call them fairies though in the beginning.
Yeah, that's true. They do. But I think I also like when I first started, I'm like, fairies, Tinkerbell.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either, and I'm sure there's a long history of fairies meaning like F-A-E-R-I-E-S. Fairies.
Yes.
But I didn't understand when I was reading this book.
Yeah, it took me like a little bit to like get it, but I do like that it's introduced.
She jumps in right away.
Yes.
Like, that's what I really liked about this entire book is she, from the beginning, kept it moving.
Yes. Usually it takes me a while to get into books, but right away I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, she's not messing around. So she sees a wolf that she's not sure if it's a fairy. We come to know that fairies live in Freethin, and so at this point you understand like they're this other type of being with more strength, or there's some sort of hierarchy that's happening where humans are lesser and Feyre is a human. So, but she's starving, and I think one thing I really noticed at this point too, like, though it seems like there's a lot of contempt for fairies, like there's a lot of contempt there, she also is starving, right? So she has a little bit of like tunnel vision.
Yes,
rightly so.
Yes,
like,
trying to feed herself and her family.
So whether this is a fairy or not, I don't care because there is contempt there, but also like we need to eat. So I'm gonna push away that thought that it might be a fairy, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, because it's a second body there for me to take, and I don't want it to take
the
my deer
that we need to eat. So she kills the wolf. She takes its hide. She takes the deer back to her family so that they can eat. And that's the end of chapter 1. That's the intro chapter. Chapter 2 is when we meet her family.
Yes, which is very interesting in my eyes.
Yeah, so the first chapter is sad and lonely. The second chapter induces anger. Fun.
Yeah. We meet her father and her two sisters, Nesta and Elaine.
And right away you know that Feyre is doing way more than everyone else, and the expectations are completely different here. And they don't seem to be grateful for the fact that she's going out and she's hunting in the dead of winter while she's also starving, and nobody else seems to be putting in that effort.
And it's very dangerous out there with the Fae.
Mm-hmm. And it's just really sad because they
just not getting that like appreciation. Okay, so yes, we meet her family. One thing I did find that was interesting is that you think Feyre going out and doing all that she would be the oldest sibling, but we find out that she is the youngest, and that her older sisters are kind of letting her go out and do all that thing. I feel like it's just a different sort of dynamic than we're used to seeing.
Right. It's not usually the youngest sibling is the one that's trying to take care over the others.
Yeah, and hold up the entire family, including her father, who is also putting that on her as the youngest child.
Right, but we get to know that his leg is shattered because of bad debts that he had been in, so he seems a little bit indifferent or lacks care.
Yes, so they were also used to living a different sort of life.
Yeah, they're not in poverty all their life. They went from having money-ish to being in poverty. I think it had been like 8 years by that point. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Nesta is very much giving me like evil stepsister vibes, even though she's not a stepsister, but yeah.
Critical, judgmental, cruel, and kind.
Yeah. Not a big Nesta fan right now.
Then Elaine seems like, and I think even Feyre takes this stance in the book where she's not as contemptuous towards her and upset with her because she seems to be in her own headspace, her own world where she's naive and doesn't.
Yeah. She almost gets treated like a younger child.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of like, oh, it's Elaine.
Yeah.
Like, protect Elaine at all costs and kind of, getting away from that.
Right, and I think Feyre says something like she doesn't grasp that she's capable, as if that, like, lets her off the hook, that she doesn't know that she is also able to learn the things that Feyre's had to teach herself in terms of, like, hunting and, like, providing.
Yes.
She just assumes, like, oh, Feyre is Feyre, and she knows how to do it, and that's not even an option for me. I don't know that's a good enough excuse for me.
No. Elaine and Nesta aren't coming off really great right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just shows them arguing, it really, like, outlines the sad dynamic and how Feyre is incredibly on her own, even though her family is there, but she has made this vow to her mother who had passed away that she was going to take care of them. Now, why would her mother ask the youngest child to take care of them? I think it probably comes back to the idea that she was somehow viewed as capable for some reason, or...
Yes. Hopefully there was a very good reason that you chose her to give you this vow.
Hopefully we learn that. But Feyre and Nesta also talk about the man that Nesta is interested in. So, like, in the book, we get the idea that the world that they live in is a little bit dated. In terms of, like Nesta and Elaine have are striving for getting married. Right, they're gonna get married and be part of a family. It isn't modern times.
No,
they don't have phones. They don't have electronics.
Yes.
This is like seems to be set in. It's a different world. It's not modern.
Ye old times.
But that's the idea. So Nesta has found a man that possibly would marry her, and then they kind of have an argument, her and Feyre, because this man is not a nice man. But there's desperation in poverty, and they have too many mouths to feed.
I think Nesta also wants that lifestyle again, I'm assuming, or some sort of thing where you're not sitting around waiting for your little sister to bring you a deer.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3, we see them going to the village because Feyre has already killed the wolf and has the hide that she needs to sell. So they're going to go to the village and try and get some money for that. So
yeah, which the fun part, well, I wouldn't call them fun, but on their way into the village, they run into
the children of the blessed.
Yes, they're interesting. They very much believe in the Fae world and that they will take them and bless them, and I don't know, they're kind of like cultish.
They seem very cultish.
Yeah. So they seem very interesting. I would watch a documentary on them.
I totally would. So we see them try and rebuff. We'll probably see them come up again, but it really, I think we start to see it incredibly highlighted how fearful humans are of fairies.
Yeah, they talk about their bracelets that they wear.
Right, thinking that iron will keep them safe by wearing iron, things like that.
Yeah, I think they mentioned something they like put outside their houses. Like there's just things kind of mentioned that, yeah, they're trying to always protect themselves from the Fae realm or world.
And I think we get to, I don't know if we know by this point, like, what the difference is between fairies and high fae. But, they're all fairies. It's just that high fae have an even...
they're more powerful.
Yeah, they look more human. If you're a reader, they look more human. They look more like regular people, whereas lesser fairies are ones that are more creature-like.
Yes, which we'll learn more of the different... types throughout.
But Feyre finds someone to buy her pelt, and it's a mercenary. So this person has a lot of knowledge about how dangerous the Fae are. So again, re-emphasizing how scary they are, reinforces to Feyre that she to Feyre that she needs to keep safe and that they're not to be trusted.
She gets some cash, and her sisters go wild for it.
Yeah, and that's just, again, more sort of selfishness from her sisters, where instead of keeping that money for, I don't know, like food?
Yeah.
Like, Nesta wants boots, and even though she already has boots, and Feyre's boots are falling apart, those types of things. Oh, the other thing that the mercenary mentions, or they speak about, is we know that there's a treaty. So there's a treaty between the humans and the fairies that keeps them separated, that the fairies are supposed to honor. And I think part of that is not crossing the border.
Yes. And
that there's some sort of war that happened many, many years ago. And then they go home, they eat dinner, and a big beast comes through.
big beast comes through the door.
Golden fur, as big as a horse, looks like a wolf in a hat, claws. Anyway, it's scary.
Yeah, I would be scared.
But he's coming for Feyre because, or he doesn't even know it's Feyre at this point, but his friend was killed. So at the beginning, we know that she wasn't sure if it was a wolf or it was a fairy. So we know now it was a fairy because he's mad.
And he is yelling murderer.
Yeah. And so he says it's a life for a life. Like, you have to come with me. You have to come with me.
Or die.
Or die. That's the payment. She tries to fight him off. Obviously, that doesn't really work. Her family cowers in the corner, as they would.
Yeah, it's that part really, really upset me.
Yeah.
It was just like, they were just, I would never do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just spare us, take her, like...
And it's just a weird dynamic that the youngest child is taking a stand and trying to fight this creature as their father, like, protects the middle child in the corner. It's strange.
Yeah, it's very...
But they all think that Feyre can handle herself, which, I mean, let's talk about the real world, too. When you think someone can handle themselves, they start to believe that they have to.
Yeah, they don't have that option, so...
So that's what happens here. So Feyre goes with him.
Yes. I do want to comment because the one surprising part was her dad when she was leaving and like what he said to her, which I was just surprised by because of how the dynamic kind of was, but pretty much saying, yeah, like, you're too good for this place. If you can leave, don't come back, and
find a better life for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though her father was as he was, even though her father was a father and acting the way he did, obviously people have different dynamics to their experience and why they're behaving the way that they are. So I think we see a little, like, glimmer of light that, like, okay, her father's not a total, like, he does care about her, even though he's dropped the ball incredibly.
Yeah.
That he
still has
he sees
some heart
her
in there.
value, even though he hasn't treated her in the way that he sees her value.
Yes.
Recognizing that she's better than what's been happening. So she goes and she's off to Prythin, which I think as a reader, like, that was incredibly scary. I don't know. I was like, what the hell is going to happen? Like, you've painted this picture that Prythin and fairies are incredibly dangerous, and now she's going to go to this place. Like, what the hell?
Now she's just with this animal thing, and yeah, just off, like, who knows. Also, is it Prythian? Prythian, okay. I just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Some of the pronunciation for things.
If we mispronounce anything...
Don't get mad.
We will continue to. Chapter 5.
They get there?
No, I mean, chapter 5 is really just their journey. It's their journey through the woods. And she's trying to ask questions. She's incredibly worried about her family, concerned about them, when she really should be concerned about herself. But her family doesn't know how to feed themselves, so that makes sense.
Yeah. They're going to starve to death without her.
So she ends up falling asleep, which we come to know, like, he puts a sleeping spell on her because she won't shut up.
And I think it's supposed to be, like, they say, like, a 2-day travel or something.
Yeah.
And she just wakes up and she's there.
Mm-hmm. One thing I noted, when he came to get her, he brought a horse.
Oh, yeah.
So he assumed she was going to come with him.
I never thought about that.
That might not be that strange. That's something I was just thinking about when I was rereading it.
That is kind of strange because you would have come as the wolf, so you wouldn't have needed a horse.
Yeah, so he came intending to take her.
Yeah, knowing that he wouldn't kill her.
Yeah, anyway.
Good catch.
Chapter 6, a lot happens in
Yeah.
this chapter compared to chapter 5. Feyre gets to the house. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It is the spring court, so just think of, like, the most epic parts of spring.
The flowers.
It's a beautiful manor.
Yes. And
Gardens.
I need to say how it gives me Beauty and the Beast vibes. I'm going to put it out there now. I get very Beauty and the Beast from, like, this part.
Well, he is a beast.
That's, yes, true. But that was, my immediate... And I remember the first time reading it, I was like, this reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. And, oh my god, what's her name? Alice. Alice is Miss Potts.
Yeah, no, total Mrs. Potts vibes. Yeah, I never thought of that before until you said.
Right? That's like all I could think of. It's just mainly like this kind of portion of the book, but yeah, just very Beauty and the Beast vibes, which that was my favorite. So I'm not mad about it.
And although this is beautiful scenery, I'll also add that it kind of makes me feel like itchy.
Because it's spring and allergies, or?
Well, I just think of like spring and like it's like warm and there's flowers everywhere and like probably mosquitoes and like bees, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I didn't feel that.
sorry. It's probably not the vibes they were going for. But it's beautiful.
Yes, and he has a beautiful castle, mansion. I don't know what you want to call it.
Manor house?
Manor, yes, manor.
Excuse me. And she is weak and hungry and starving. She still thinks about running away, but she obviously can't.
You have no energy to do so, so not the smartest idea.
And the beast transforms.
Mm-hmm.
So that is his creature form, but he actually just looks like a man.
Yeah.
A little blonde man. Not Lil. I think he's a tall blonde man.
Handsome blonde man, but he has a mask on.
Mm-hmm. Which is, we don't know why at this point. It's strange. Why
It's
is he
very
wearing
weird.
a gold mask?
I think she says, is it like high fae fashion?
Yeah, she doesn't know.
Yeah, so that would be weird. But he is, yes, transformed into a beautiful man.
He wants her to eat, and she obviously wants to eat, but she's heard all these stories that you shouldn't eat if you're with a fairy because they're gonna, I don't know, poison the food. But they have plenty of food. They're obviously like not... They're living in luxury.
Yeah.
He tells her that she can live anywhere in Prethin, even though that's kind of a trap. Like, she's so scared. Like, where's she gonna go?
Yeah, she's a human. She's very weak. She can't, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, you're not a prisoner, but like, you
A little bit
are.
are. Yeah.
You're not a prisoner. You can go wherever you want. It's like, okay, but I don't have money, and I'm also in a place that I'm gonna get killed as soon as I...
Yeah, so if you don't want to die, you'll stay
also,
here.
you can't go home.
Yeah.
But you're not a prisoner. You're not.
I mean, at least she's...
So stop saying that. I'm nice.
It's a nice place to, like, it's not like he brings her in and puts her in the dungeons, at least, so...
Right.
Positive.
Well, I think that's his perspective. Is like, hey, I'm feeding you. You live in this beautiful house. You can do whatever you want. You have everything.
Yes.
That I think is important. So just be happy. And she's like, my family's starving.
Yes.
I don't know you. I'm scared.
Very much in, like, panic mode still. Very worried.
Then we get to know another fairy that comes in the room. His name is Lucian. He's red-haired. He has a fox mask. So now we see two masks, and she's like, okay, I guess you guys wear masks. But he's a little more sassy. And immediately, like, if you don't have love for Lucian, I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking. Love Lucian.
I feel like I just, like, immediately like his sassy personality.
Yeah. And we'll be clear, like, he's not nice to her.
No.
But, like... kind of rightly so. Like, she killed
their friend.
And so Lucian is kind of going hard in on her, like, and also because Feyre doesn't feel bad.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? Like, you all, like, fairies would kill me in a second. Like, you've oppressed my peoples for however long. Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't care, and I'm not sorry. And so she kind of butt heads with Lucian, and Lucian's like, you're some scrawny human, how did you kill him? And that's their dynamic.
And I love it.
We meet Alice. So Alice is someone who works in the house and helps her get dressed and bathe, and
the Mrs. Potts,
and but she tells her to keep her wits about her.
And I learned that plaiting hair means to braid it. So that was an exciting moment for me.
I always thought that plaiting hair was braiding it and putting it on top of your head.
I think it is that, but then I also looked it up, and it can just be, like, braiding it.
Okay, well, she does her hair real nice.
Yeah, I want someone to plait my hair.
Alice tells her not to trust her senses and maybe push back on Lucian a little bit.
And how, like, she can, like, taste the magic. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
What does it taste like again?
Metal, I think.
Yeah, when magic is happening, she can has this taste in her mouth. What do you think about these chapters so far?
Yeah, great. I feel like exciting because now it's like, what's going to happen? Like, so many questions.
Do we like them? Do we not like them?
What's with the masks?
Is she going to run away? Oh, yeah. What's with the masks?
What about her family?
What's going to happen to her family?
Yes. I mean, I don't really know if I care at this point, but still.
True. But we need to know.
Yes. Well, and Feyre needs to know.
And there's so much that we don't know. We know that there was a war. We know that there was a treaty. We know, like, this is the first time she's been in this world and even being with these creatures. Like, humans have such a short lifespan, so she only knows what she knows from what other people have told her.
Yes. So it's...
So the larger history, she doesn't understand that at this point.
Yeah. And when I think when he came in the house, they threw the metal bracelets at him or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously that did nothing. Obviously the thing outside their house did nothing. The iron did nothing. So it's also, I think like uncovering.
Yeah, these stories that have been passed down that are a little bit like, well, they're not true.
Yeah.
So she starts to learn what's true, what's not. Chapter 7, Feyre is having dinner again with Tamlin. I believe Lucian there is too, but he is, because she learns what his name is. I guess that was his name. She learns that
does she know?
She learns that his name is Tamlin because Lucian says it, which at this point, like, why are you hiding your name?
Yeah, just, she's living with you, like, you might as well let it out.
What?
Sure, that's not your biggest secret.
Yeah. Anyway, his name is Tamlin. She's still hesitant to eat the food. Tamlin is trying to convince her, which, look, like, be a little more sensitive.
Yeah.
She's terrified. The things that she thinks about the fairies, like, I don't know.
She's
valid.
human.
Like,
yeah. Just lost her family.
So, of course, what does he do? He, like, holds her at the table with his magic.
Yeah.
Like, holds her arms down, like, okay, you have to eat. Not a great move, Tamlin.
No.
What are you doing?
He's, in his way, he's really trying. Not the best way.
No tact.
No.
Anyway,
she
kinda,
does
like,
eat. So
yeah, she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck in this chair and I have to eat. She finally does, which it ends up being fine. The food is fantastic, and she eats and she feels better.
Best food she's ever had.
She's still scared about her family, though. He tries to convince her that they're fine, but doesn't really give her details. Which, again, like, why don't you give her the details?
Yeah, she just needs to know more and that everybody's okay.
Terrified for her family, she's the one that takes care of them, and he goes, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they're taken care of.
Just be quiet. Be quiet and eat. You live in this beautiful mansion. What are you complaining about? She wants to know what she's going to do with the rest of her life. She's also like, okay, but I'm stuck in this house. What am I going to do? And he's like, I don't know. Do whatever you want.
It's weird. Just all of a sudden have that option.
Well, when you're living in poverty and survival mode, you're like living day to day, meal to meal.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, do whatever.
Yeah.
Go for a nice walk in the garden.
You don't need to hunt for your food anymore.
Yeah. The other thing I'll add too is like when we missed this part when Alice gets her dressed and she doesn't want to wear a dress.
Yeah.
Like, you know how old school they are when they're just like, okay, you're a woman and you're not going to wear a gown around the manor. And she refuses. And
which I love that she refuses. Like, I want some pants. And like a top, like a sweater or something. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be wearing a gown frolicking about every day. I mean, not that I wouldn't want to maybe.
I might.
Yeah. If I had some fancy gowns every day and just...
I'll go look at the flowers.
Yeah, spring every day. I'm just going to go frolic in the field.
One thing I'll add too is she thinks that fairies can't lie. That probably happened earlier in the book. And
yeah, I feel like it was mentioned quite a few times.
I think when he came in their house, when he first showed up in their house.
She was like, well, fairies can't lie.
Yeah, so that's something that she also believes, and she doesn't question it, but she's like, maybe he's twisting the truth.
Like how he's phrasing things.
How he's phrasing things to her, and obviously doesn't trust him at this point. Lucian again pushes back on her about how not remorseful she is. She tries to apologize, but it's like, he's not buying it. Then they start questioning her.
Yes, about her love life.
Yeah, so you seeing anyone?
Yeah, let's just get to the gossip.
Like, I know I'm keeping you from your family and I won't tell you if they're safe or not, and I also just magically held you to a chair, and also I'm just, like, not being very nice to you, but, like, how's your love life?
Yeah, are you dating anyone? Are you in love? Are you married? What's going on?
Yeah, I know you haven't eaten in a while, and you're like...
Probably go take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they question her. And she answers, lets them know about Ethan. Isaac. Ugh.
Isaac Hale. She had rolled in the hay with Isaac Hale, saw him. It wasn't a relationship. She admits that she didn't love him. It was just physical.
Yeah, just a little escape from her life.
Crappy life. But they want to know more about her life and learn more about her, which obviously is super confusing. But at nighttime, Feyre...
I feel like that's not actually too confusing. I mean, like, imagine a human just showed up. I feel like it'd be interesting.
True. I think it's more confusing in the sense that, like, they're not really answering her questions.
Fair. Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to give you many answers to anything.
I don't even want to tell you my name.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't tell you my name yet, but tell me about your life.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to tell us? So eventually Feyre is wandering the manor. She sees all the beautiful art that Tamlin has at his house. She's obviously very interested, but we didn't tell you that. That's another thing we missed, is that she loves to paint.
That was touched on a few times.
When Feyre lived in her house, she had very little access to like quality paints, but we know that she painted parts of her house. So like the family dining table, the dresser that they had in their bedroom.
Which I like how it kind of describes, like she painted each drawer differently for each sister, reflecting their personalities, I feel like, a little bit.
I forget what it was.
I think Elaine's flowers, because she likes the garden.
Nesta was fire.
Yes, and Feyre was the night skies, stars.
Yeah. But that kind of stuff is all over their house. But so we know that she likes to paint. So as she's walking through the halls at Tamlin's manor, she sees all the cool art. She's super interested. She ends up seeing Tamlin in the garden, I believe. And he's like, hey, you want to hang out? And she's like, no.
No, I'm going to go find Lucien.
Yeah.
Well, she does not say that to him, but she rebuffs his hangout request.
But before she does that, she does get information from him that there is a blight in Prethin, so it's weakening the magic that they would usually have, and that's been happening for the last 50 years, and that it might affect the human realms. And now she's like, oh, okay, my family, I have to like tell them. And again, Tamlin
not giving her much.
No, and that's the end. Now we're on to chapter 8. So chapter 8, Feyre is still trying to find ways to escape. She's in the garden trying to find some hiding spots.
Just still in her survival mode.
She sees things in the corner of her eye, but doesn't really know what they are. And we don't really get much. I expect that we'll learn later what that thing in the corner of her eye was.
Yes.
What was that? And then at dinner, which I think is a hilarious part, where she tries to like steal the butter knife. Like, this'll work, but
just slide this butter knife, even though they have magic.
And Lucien is being Lucien again and thinks that her understanding of fairies in the fairy realms is hilarious, because there are things that she gets wrong. Feyre is still upset that she's being kept from her family, and obviously Tamlin's not being transparent. But she also had thoughts about her mother. So, like, as we've already learned, like, her mother had said, like, you need to take care of them. So there's this, like, oath that keeps coming back to, that means that she has to take care of them, and she feels like she's not fulfilling that. But then she
made
also
to her
like,
mother on her deathbed.
Right? But now she's starting to feel angry about it. Like, why me? She's starting to question it now in ways that she hasn't before. Which makes sense.
Yeah. It's insane.
But then also Lucien and Tamlin learn that her mother died, and we see this moment where Tamlin finally has some empathy, and he seems genuine in the moment where he says his condolences for her mother. So
getting to see a little bit more of Tam Tam. Yeah,
we see him sort of bring down his shields a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And that's, I guess, like Feyre goes to pack her bags and is like, I'm getting ready to leave at any moment. Still happening.
That's still her goal. That I love that she believes that that's going to happen when you have no idea how to get there.
So instead, in chapter 9, she does this. She tries to go for Lucien instead. I'm going to convince Lucien to get around this treaty that says a life for a life, and maybe he can convince Tamlin that I don't have to be here, because she knows that Lucien does not want her here.
Yes, she killed his friend. He's not a fan of her.
Tamlin again asks her to hang out. Tamlin's like, hey, I'll take you a ride. And she's like, nah. And then she finds Lucien instead. So she goes with Lucien, pretending that she's going to go hunting with him, but
he catches on pretty quick.
Yeah, he knows what she's doing. And he says, like, Feyre, I know what's happening here. There's nothing I can do. Tamlin's in charge. Like, I'm not.
There is no way out of this.
I'm his right-hand man, but I am not making the decisions here.
Yeah. I love that
I want you
almost immediately. He's like, I see what you're doing.
And it makes sense. I do not want you here.
Yeah. So just love that for him.
We also learn that the masks that they have are part of the blight. So they're not just cute.
Cute fashion that everyone is wearing.
They're wearing masks because of the blight, and they're stuck on their face. They literally can't get them off.
Which would
Imagine
be awful.
50 years and you're wearing a mask on your face that you can't take off. I feel like it's like having a pimple on your face that you can't take off.
Okay, well, it's not that bad because obviously they were beautiful. Like they wore them for a reason, like chose those ones for a reason, for some.
I bet it would feel like a pimple after 50
Yeah,
years.
that's true. It would be so, yeah. I mean, I feel bad for them because that would be awful. But also good to know that it's not just like why.
Hey, whatever makes you feel good.
I
You
think
wear
that's-
whatever makes you feel good.
It's true. I found that almost like just like an odd choice, but like an interesting choice.
The masks?
Yeah. Just
When you thought they were a fashion choice?
no, like when you find out why they're on their face.
Oh.
Just as a writer, I was like, that was like an interesting
Yeah.
choice.
It was.
Right?
It was. I never thought of that.
Like, I'm not mad about it, but it's just an interesting choice.
Now I'm questioning why.
Right?
Why? Does it add anything? Other than, like, not being able to see a small portion of their face. But, like...
And it's annoying. Like, it would be annoying. Like, just like a little
Yeah.
annoying every day. It was interesting. I mean, it's different.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
We also get a tidbit here. So there's crumbs that are crumbing along the way in these chapters. Lucian is scared of some woman. We don't know who this woman is, but she seems to be scary and we need to be afraid of her. And she seems to have some power in all of this and we have no idea why yet. And so we get that little tidbit here. And he regrets telling Feyre so much. She shouldn't know that. But look, I'm guessing he hasn't had a lot of people to talk to.
Just finds himself kind of mentioning a few too many things.
Lucian tells Feyre about the cereal here.
Ooh, yes.
But before she gets the details, the bogey comes.
Ooh.
And so they have to ignore the bogey, even though the bogey is invisible, but she hears some voice in her head. And so there's something around them, watching them, but she doesn't know what it is. You can't see it, and you just, like, can't...
And Lucian just says, stare ahead.
Don't look at it.
Yeah.
Even though she can't see anything.
It sounds super creepy.
Yeah.
I would not enjoy it. It just, yeah, I did not enjoy that part.
They get through it, though.
Yes. It's just, yeah, they can't move. It's just this voice telling her to, like, creepy voice that I'm hearing in my own head saying not to look. And
Lucian says that it's not.
but even, like, when you know, like, the horses are, like, scared.
Yeah. And the bogey says, look at me.
Yeah.
But Lucian clarifies that this is a creature that shouldn't be in their lands and isn't usually in their lands. So again, we're getting tidbits of, like, something is going awry in Creathan. Probably has to do with this 50-year mask thing too, where, like, in the blight and their magic being dampened, like, things are happening that shouldn't be happening. There's creatures on their land that shouldn't be on their land.
I think it's also should be showing Feyre that, like, okay, let's be safe in the manor because there are all these crazy things that are kind of happening out there.
Lucian admits here too that even though, you know, he knows about the bogey, like, Tamlin is a more powerful. This is when we hear how powerful Tamlin is, and we'll learn more. But Lucian is saying, like, no, Tamlin is way more capable of dealing with this than he is, even though he is capable with a sword or whatever else, that Tamlin is the person he's going to look to deal with the bogey.
Yes, even, having magic, anything.
And then, of course, when they get back, as soon as Tamlin hears about the bogey, he is off and going to look for it.
Tam's pissed.
This is where when she goes to her room and she's watching out the window to see if Tamlin is done with the bogey yet, seeing if he comes home, she sees her father.
Such, like, a sad and scary moment.
She sees her father outside the property. Come here.
Yeah,
Come
I
on,
just
let's go.
felt for her in this part. Because she's obviously just like, oh my god, he came for me, he's here, like, we're gonna get out of here together. Obviously kind of, like, blowing past the thing, like, how did he actually get here? Could he actually do that?
So she gets ready, she puts on a bunch of clothes, she gets any supplies that she possibly can, and she goes out there and runs across the property to try and get to him. But before she is able to, Tamlin snatches her. And she thinks that he is just stopping her from trying to escape, but he says, like, look at your father again. And she sees that the whatever it is changes forms.
And then that's just sad.
So the creature is able to, like, shift. So, like, changes to a
Show
bow and
you.
arrow. It changes to, like, her sisters. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, just showing you what you want to see.
Tamlin tells her, like, you need to not trust your human senses, which was Look, I'm hating on Tamlin at this point because Tamlin, you need to give her more information.
Yeah.
Don't trust your senses.
What other senses does she have?
What else you got?
Yeah.
What would you like me to trust?
Could you be more specific?
Yeah. What about my senses? My eyes, my ears? What?
Yeah, you clearly can't trust any of them.
But we learn that it's a creature called the puka. Feyre also says to him, like, hey, I'm trying to escape because I want to take care of my family. Like, what we know to this point, like, Tamlin's like, it's fine.
They're fine.
So she's like, give me more info. So we learn that Tamlin is feeling a little sad here, too.
Yeah.
He never wanted to be in charge. He doesn't really want to be in the role that he is in now. So we're getting a little bit more of Tamlin revealing himself, but, like, super slowly.
Yeah. But I feel like that just also says a lot about him. And a lot about most males, really. Just very slow to open up. And
and then there's Lucian, who's just blurting stuff out.
yeah, he's hard on his sleeve. Honesty on his sleeve. Everything.
She continues to spend time with Lucian and go out patrolling with him because, I mean...
I think that, whatever that thing was with her dad, kind of pushed her to, like, be like, okay, I
need to accept this somehow.
Yeah. So I think she is, becoming a bit more accepting, but...
Then, so we end chapter 11 with her waking up in a cold sweat. She's having this nightmare about Andras? I think it's Andras. Andras. He is the friend that was killed, that she killed, that she wasn't sure was a wolf or a fairy. So she's starting to feel some remorse because in the dream or the nightmare, he's in his more human-looking form, in his fave form. So she's humanizing him.
Yes.
Right? She's visualizing, oh wait, this was a real person that people loved and I killed them and I had no regard for that. So she's starting to feel that guilt and that remorse. And I think part of that is probably seeing, oh wait, the fairies are...
Yeah, seeing the fae and, like, that they're people, like, too.
They're
like...
not humans, but they're people with feelings and histories and people that they love. And she's starting to give context to their experiences and understand that, you know, maybe they don't want to be in the roles that they're in also. So she's starting to feel it. And that's where we end off.
Good spot.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot to end because this is where Feyre is starting to take a turn and go, I don't think things are the way that I think they are.
Yes.
There's a lot more here.
A lot's being revealed. She's realizing a lot about, I feel like, herself and her past. And
yeah, it's like when you, again, I bring up this, like, poverty thing where you're like, you're living day to day. And so now she's, like, starting to see the world in this, like, way wider lens and understanding it in a different way, and which is a little bit jolting.
yes, I agree.
Let's do the casting call.
So I would like to start off that sometimes I am weird with my casting calls, or
you
just
can do whatever you want.
Yes. How I envision characters is I sometimes just like to not acknowledge how they're described. Well, I acknowledge it and I read it, but my mind still envisions something different.
Shut up, Sarah. My Feyre has curly hair.
Yes. My Feyre doesn't have curly hair, but my Nesta.
No, mine doesn't either, though.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we'll start with Feyre.
Yeah, Feyre.
Okay.
Feyre.
Okay, so I've never really had a Feyre option.
It's like the main character.
I know, but I just struggle with it. I just have this, like, made up person in my mind, but I decided on two people that I kind of
You
close
actually
to.
picked someone?
Yeah. Suki Waterhouse.
Oh, okay.
I also just really love her. Or Olivia Cook.
Okay.
Which...
I feel like Olivia Cook might be too, like, classically pretty.
Yeah. You know what? I take that back now that I pull her back up again. I'm just going to stick with Suki Waterhouse.
I like it. Yeah. No, I'm up for it. Mine is Sydney Sweeney, which I know you're against, but
I am.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah,
I'm sticking to it. I think you said it was because of Euphoria.
Yeah, I've just seen her in other things, and I just can't. I can't do it.
Well, she's, like, snarky in those shows a little bit. So it's like a completely like Feyre's a different character completely.
Yeah, I've seen her in other roles, like different characters. I don't know what it is. It bugs me to think of her as Feyre.
Did you see her in The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Samara Weaving?
Who?
Samara Weaving. That was another one, but then I also kind of was like, I really struggle with Feyre and finding.
Let's see. It's not a no for me.
Oh, okay.
It's not a no.
And I just
maybe look if you mess her up a little bit, put some dirt in her hair.
I watched her in that Ready or Not movie, and
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, it's very interesting. I don't know, but she's like her or Suki Waterhouse.
Okay,
Suki.
I'll take it.
Okay,
I'll take it.
And I finally have a choice, which it took me forever.
The other ones that I've seen are Anna Taylor-Joy or Aunt.
Yes, but I'm just like no.
No, that's a no for me, even though she's great. But
yes, I love her. But
and the other one I mentioned was someone said, what is her name?
I don't know.
From that singing show.
That singing show. The Voice. American Idol.
No. In the TV show.
Glee. Oh, Leah Michele. Someone said Leah Michele, didn't they?
Someone said Leah Michele,
yeah.
And that was a big no for me.
No.
I thought she was she could be a way better Nesta.
Yeah.
But not for Feyre.
No.
But speaking of Nesta,
for some reason my Nesta has black curly hair. I no idea why.
So for reference, like all the sisters are described as having
like darker blonde hair.
Yeah, or like light brown and
yeah. And no, that's not how I
fine.
see it.
Do you not have like an actress for her though? I
for some kind of picture like Alana Glazer. I don't know why. Literally not who I would actually cast as her, but when I'm reading the book,
ones that get stuck in your head.
Yeah, and that just has never gone away. But like in my mind, her face is a bit different, but she still has like the curly black hair, but it's like longer. Nesta's just a weird character for me, and I've tried to alter it.
There are so many people that can play Nesta.
Oh, I know. That's the last, like not the last, but I've tried to alter it in my mind when I'm reading it, and it's just
you're fired. You're fired as a casting director.
Yeah.
I want Olivia Rodrigo.
Which I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, that's one of the ones that
that makes way more sense.
Yeah. What about Elaine?
Elle Fanning.
No.
Okay.
Elle Fanning.
Just because she
like
just
yes and no.
Like that. Oh, I mean, she's played different characters and stuff. Just the lightness and the
sweetness.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it for me. Who did I pick again?
Oh.
Kiernan Shipka.
From Sabrina.
Yeah, Shipka.
Yeah.
She's from Sabrina.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
I do think that's a good one. That's actually... it still wouldn't be my top one, really, between either of ours, but I feel like there's someone else out there.
We're trying here.
Yeah.
Okay, then who do we meet next? Father.
Ooh. Oh, what did I have? Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman.
Who?
Right?
Oh, Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
Pullman.
Pullman.
That is an insult to Bill Pullman. He is a treasure.
I love him.
While You Were Sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
If you've never seen While You're Sleeping, turn this off. Turn this off and
go watch it.
I don't know what.
And then come back.
Yeah. It's Sandra Bullock. I'll marry him.
I mean, you'll have to get divorced first, but...
Nope. Okay, mine is Hugh Lowry.
Yes, I do like that.
Of Stuart Little.
Definitely Stuart Little. That's what he's best known for.
He's known as House.
Yeah.
And a million other things. But I think that's a good choice.
I feel like that's a better choice than mine, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that choice.
Okay. Important Tamlin.
So, I already forgot what his name was. I also... Okay, say your Tamlin first.
My Tamlin is Jacob Elordi, which I think is maybe, I don't know what other people are saying. I'm gonna guess other people agree. No?
Yeah, probably people
what
probably
TikTok
do.
say?
I can't even remember what TikTok is saying.
You know what? I don't care because it's Jacob.
I feel like it's not a bad choice at all.
He's brooding. He can look a little mean, but like he feels a little sad. But like, okay,
I love him.
I'll be a shoulder to cry on. Break his shell.
He's just like, I feel like his lines are really hard. He's beautiful.
Jacob Elordi or Tamlin?
Jacob Elordi.
Yeah.
Just he wouldn't be my choice.
And Tamlin's supposed to be blonde, but I don't care.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Get some highlights.
I had Alex Pettyfer.
Oh yeah.
And I really like him for that.
I have him for a different casting in a different book, so it's difficult for me to give a yes, but I understand. I get it.
Right?
But I'm going to give it a no because I think of him as that other character.
Like an Austin Butler, even.
Yeah? Well, okay, that's an option.
Right?
Yeah. Lucian?
So my Lucian is nothing like he's described. And I feel like he's like the most distinctly...
He's a redhead, yeah.
Literally redhead.
Yeah.
So I picture him as a black actor from the Chilling Tales of Sabrina, I think it's called.
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so yeah, my Lucian really is not how he's described at all. But for some reason, when he first started like talking, I immediately thought of Chance Perdomo. I'm probably not saying that right. But he plays Sabrina's cousin in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Ambrose. And I don't know.
You showed me his picture, and I get it.
He has that like sort of like swag. I don't even know if that's a word anymore.
No, well, anyone playing the character of Lucian needs to have this
like
thing.
Sort of like air about them, and he did in that role. And yeah, as soon as he started talking, like that's who I'm picturing.
Okay.
Not my Lucian.
I picked someone who is not a natural redhead, and I picked KJ Appa from Riverdale.
Who is a redhead in Riverdale because he is Archie.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. He plays a redhead in Riverdale, but he's not a real redhead.
Mm-hmm.
A fake and a phony.
Yes.
But I would also like him to be a fake and a phony for this series, because I think he has that thing that Lucian needs.
I don't think he does.
What? He can be snarky.
Did you watch Riverdale, though?
Yeah, no, he's not in that, but I think he's capable.
I mean, I hope so, because he's an actor.
Look at that face.
Yeah, he has a sweet face.
Well, I don't mean sweet. I mean, I could see him being mean to me.
You can be mean to me. Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay, last one is Alice. Who's your Alice?
Oh, I had one, and I forget who it was now. God. Love Alice.
Okay, I'll say mine. I had 3 choices. It was Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy. It was Jamie Gertz. Oh. She's from some stuff. So she's from like, she was in Twister.
Okay.
Remember Twister?
It's hard because like Alice, like I feel like she comes off as an older woman, but Yorberly Faye are like younger looking.
They're immortal, so they're gonna look younger looking.
But they do age, but just very slowly, don't they?
Yeah, we're ignoring that a little bit just because I find it so strange, especially in fantasy books when people are immortal. It's like,
and they're like their dads. They're supposed to look like the same as they do.
Same age. I can't do it.
No,
and I'm not going to do it, and I refuse to.
Yeah.
So Alice to me are those 2, but I think the final. The final person that I came to was Gloria Rubin.
Yeah, I like that
and
choice.
You'll see the picture I have where you can look her up, but Gloria Rubin is, I think, a really good choice. She's she looks sweet, but she could also like tell Feyre what's up.
Yeah.
And did you think of who you?
I can't remember who I had picked before.
Come on.
I know.
Oh well, if you think of it later, we can always bring it up because Alice will be around.
She won't be. I don't know. Even sometimes I'm like Mindy Kaling. I don't know why. I think because I watched her like A Wrinkle in Time.
Right.
And that's
maybe. I'll give it a maybe.
Reese Witherspoon, also A Wrinkle in Time.
No.
No. Okay.
And now...
Dun, 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 MVP.
Do you want me to go first?
I feel like we have the same.
Do we?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna do Lucian. This is controversial because he is being a meanie, but he makes me laugh. He's standing up for his friend. He is somewhat giving Feyre a chance. But look, he's a star. He's a star and...
Yeah. He's like that supporting actor that's gonna get the Oscar.
Exactly. That's it. Who do you think?
My MVP is the, what's it called? That got the pelts in the city.
The mercenary?
Yeah, that was a good day for her. She got 2 warm pelts.
She was very nice.
And she helped out a young woman.
Well, she
warned her.
She gave Feyre more money than that was required to give for those.
Yeah.
Also.
And I feel like she was like very like intuitive. And could really knows. See what was going on with like the sisters and.
Oh yeah. No, she's a winner for sure.
Yeah. So she's my MVP. And really, she got a fairy hide.
Yeah.
Not just a wolf one.
Maybe that's what she knew. Maybe she knew that.
She's like, I'm going to give you this extra money because you're going to be dead.
I'm giving you a deal.
Yeah.
We don't always do loser, but I'm going to do loser here. Tamlin's my loser, not because I hate him, but because his giving lack of information and explanations is making me itch. It's making me itch.
It's fair.
And the lack of follow-up questions from Feyre here. Even though I don't think he would tell her anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, like, give us more. But it's a book, so we need to...
Just keep reading.
That's it. Follow us for episode 2, where we're going to do chapters 12 through 22?
Sure.
12 through 22, I believe. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.